257-5396.
Write it down.
257-5396.
Okay.
What the? Dude,
What happened?
this was completely
Tweaked
set up
out?
like a champ, bro.
Man, get your stuff act together. Okay, are we going? Are we going? All right. Why is this thing so crooked?
All right, man. Thanks, brother.
You got the right number, right?
Yeah.
Remember what happened last time? Please tell us when we're about to go live.
Oh, we're going live right now.
In 3, 2, 1.
Mr. Joey Andron.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the house.
Yeah, let's get Joey in the shot. There we go.
You got me?
Yep, look at that. Joey in the shot. 3 minutes? Okay, good. Oh, I'm over here hitting record already. It's like 3 minutes. If you guys have any questions, you guys want to go live on the air, dial 702-257-5396. Again, that number is 702-257-5396. What are our topics today? I forgot. What are we talking about, Joey?
Talk about the influx of out-of-state buyers,
Out-of-state buyers.
how they are really driving our market,
Okay.
and really just talking about this how strong this market really is and how we're it's like a whiplash, right? We're
Yeah.
coming out of this snap recession into a really strong market, and even though that we're geared towards hospitality.
Yeah.
We're geared to hospitality.
we're
Absolutely.
It's
I love it.
it's not the one driver of the market, right? That's not exactly what we count on. So
I'd rather watch our president. Chucky back in the game.
Chucky's back.
See what else we got. What up, what up, what up? If you guys got any questions, call on the show today. 702-257-5396. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Push over a
7,
little bit, Joey. Just a little bit.
8, 9, 10 cameras.
Seat's always like high when I get in here. I'm all like,
Yeah, pump that thing down.
Let me know. "30 seconds. All right, let's rock and roll." You got the super glare. You got the super glare. Damn,
Got
Joey.
wide angle lens on me right now.
hey, bro.
Easy to like see your pores and everything. Hey, did you notice how far I am?
Welcome, everyone. This is Dan French here. I'm with LV Home Experts, the show. I'm in studio with Mr. Chakits Krulsawat. He is from Simply Vegas. Chakits, how you doing today, buddy, on this nice, hot day going on here on a Saturday?
I know. What is it, 105 today, isn't it?
Oh, man, I was in my car and I had the air conditioning blowing. It was still sweating.
Well, that's what you need, some tint. Get some tint, man. That's what you
Drive
need.
around in a fishbowl.
I'm also in studio with Joey Andron. He's a person that's on Chakits' team. He's also a real estate agent, very seasoned from Simply Vegas. Joey, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, we love having you. How many times you been on the show now, Joey?
This is my second.
Second time, man. For those of those people out there that don't know who Joey is, give them just a quick snapshot view of who Joey is.
Yeah, so I've been in the real estate industry for 15 years, originally from South Florida. I moved out here in 2013 and just been killing the game.
Yeah, you've been doing it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You've been really killing it on Chakits' team, and Chakits just is back there, you know, popping his collar over there because he's just really doing well with his team. What's going on with you, man? How you been doing today?
It's a little bit hot today, as you can see. I got a sunburn.
Yeah, you went jogging, right?
Yeah, like a
Right
gangster.
I thought you were going to get a stroke. I was already calling the producer like, oh, he's not going to show up. He went jogging. It's 105, and you showed up, man. So, you know, kudos to you. I'm glad.
I barely made it.
You came in sweating.
I came in sweating, that's right.
So what's going on? We got a lot of topics here today about Las Vegas with financing and real estate. And if you guys don't know out there what this show's about, it's about financing and real estate. And, you know, we got Joey. He's going to talk about some things that maybe is concerning, or not really concerning, but just things he's starting to see.
He's got some great topics, right?
Great points, you know, and I wouldn't say it's post-COVID. I think COVID's still going on, but I think people are starting to open up, and we're all dealing with what's going on out there, and people are starting to buy homes again. And so, Joey, you know, we talked a little bit about this coming into the show. So what are some of the things you're seeing out there right now with buyers? I mean, I know it's hot, but they're still wanting to buy, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, ever since California started easing restrictions, people felt a little more comfortable going outside and traveling around a little bit.
Yeah.
As soon as they did that, it was like the floodgates opened.
Wow.
Yeah, it was weird because today I was at KV Homes at Inspirada, and I was talking to Jim, the sales agent, because I have a client that's looking at a property over there. As a matter of fact, we're doing a full video tour, so I've never physically met this client. So this is one of the offers that we do supply to our clients too as well, so keep that in mind. Anyway, he was telling me that post-COVID, basically what's going on, I mean, I think they just got like 5 deals in escrow within the last like 4 days. And when I was out there a couple of weeks ago, you know, with this coronavirus, deals were falling apart left and right. And the reason why these deals are falling apart, because you got to take a look at the whole sector. Remember, the average household income is about $51,000. At $51,000, what are people really qualifying for, right? About $450 and below. And you have to understand the casinos, right? Hospitality, that's where pretty much where all the buyers are at. So when they start losing their job, deals start to fall apart. But the crazy thing about it is, like I said, I went back there today. Now the floodgates are open, just like you're saying. It's amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, we're seeing a lot of people coming from California, but I'm getting a lot of East Coast buyers now as well.
Yeah. East Coast, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, people that are putting plans in place for the next 2-3 months. You know, they're like, we're coming out. You know, New York is done. They want to get out. You know, so they're really excited about coming to Las Vegas. And you know, our build times are about 6 to 8 months.
Oh yeah.
So we're doing a lot of video tours right now, which is very, very helpful for our buyers. And then, touching on our California buyers, our market's just so hot. We have such little inventory that now I'm just telling, hey, listen, we see a property that you like. We have 14-day due diligence. Put it under contract. Drive out here, because if not, it's gone.
Didn't you lose a deal like that? You were saying?
Yeah.
Man, how you gonna lose a deal? You this close.
If you're dealing with me and I say jump on the deal,
jump on the deal.
Jump on the deal. Yeah. So you want to talk a lot about the hospitality sector, right?
Yeah.
So you say a lot of people are they back to work? Does anybody know if most of the people? So most everybody's back to work now on the Strip.
Well, a lot of the casinos are open, right?
Yeah, slowly. So they're actually working with skeleton crews. So I have
skeleton crews.
Yeah, so I have a lot of friends who work for the Cosmopolitan Marquee nightclub and stuff, and they're going like 5-6 people per shift. Per position. Yeah. But then they can't work the next day. It's every other day.
You know what? I got a buddy. He works at Town. He works at the pool, and he started working at the pool again. And that's what he was saying. So that way, if somebody does get sick, right? Then hey, you guys got to stay home. We got this second set of crew that come in.
Yep.
Man, so you guys got all these connects, man. Look at you guys. I got somebody at Town. I got somebody over here. I mean, what's going on, man? Where's the That's the love, man.
What you need? Well, I got it. That's good.
You just have something in your nose, right? So, Joey, we're talking about a lot of people out of state. You got a lot of East Coast. So you see a lot of people come in here and they got money. Most of them have money. And so what are you seeing that price point where they're coming here and starting to buy at? Because, you know, right now, we didn't really talk about this last week. Where is that starting point for people right now to go out and buy a home?
450.
450.
400, 450.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So,
in my experience, like what I'm getting a lot of people who are looking for single stories.
Yeah.
So as you know, Chuck, single stories are just priced higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So depending on which location, out in Cadence, you could probably find a better deal.
Yeah.
Out there, your dollar goes a little bit further. Enterprise area is pretty hot right now, but you're gonna be looking at a KB product.
Yeah.
Right. But the 400s, 450s is probably where they're starting at.
I think these new homes right now is really the hot property situation where people are like, it's really hot right now for people to go make offers on these new homes. Is that right? I mean, is that what you guys are going to see?
Well, we talked about that today,
Yeah.
and you mentioned that a lot of people are going to new homes because, you know, right now with the resales, they're kind of outdated at this point. And I realize Vegas is such a trendy city. It's like changing styles and clothes where a lot of people are starting to shift away from the traditional type of homes, and everybody wants that contemporary, you know, straight edge type of cornering. You know, they want that mid-century type of home. I mean, everybody's moving to like a whole different trends of housing. It's weird.
Could it be also too because people are staying in their homes, right? With all this stuff that's going on in the news, the forbearance. I'm not saying everybody's taking advantage of that, but maybe people are they're just concerned. You know, they don't know what's going to happen, and they just want to see all this pass and really kind of maybe head into towards the end of the year. You know, summertime's usually our time to really shine, right?
Well, here's the thing. I realize that the cash buyers that don't need to buy, they're the ones that kind of just sitting around and they want to see what's going on because they are in that position. But, I mean, we have buyers that are buying every single day. Like, they just don't care.
Yeah.
But I think what's happening is majority of our buyers, I would say about 95% of our buyers are out of state. And they're comparing their pricing to where they live and the cost of living where they live. They don't care what they're paying because they look at, hey, I'm paying half price of what I'm paying for. Why not just buy here?
Yeah, and I think to piggyback off that, you know, you're coming from these markets like on the East Coast, South Florida, Miami, or California, and they've already been exposed to that new design, that new contemporary design.
Yeah.
And they like it. So when they come here to Vegas, we've had a luxury market, but it's been like a micro market.
Yeah.
Right. So now all like the Blue Heron homes, the Christopher homes, now they're starting to pump out these beautiful contemporary homes in Ascaya. You know, and I think that's what's driving the market. They want that. It's in demand.
Guys out there, if you guys want to call in studio, 702-257-5396. That's 702-257-5396. Call in with all your real estate and financing questions right now. So we're talking about new homes, and we're also talking about where it's desirable in that price point. So when you come out and you have people come in to make offers on homes, where's the new home starting point? You always say it's 450. Is that what you're insinuating?
Well, I mean, you can get a new home base price in the mid to high 300s.
Okay.
Right? But if you're going to be at that 450 price range, you know, you have to also take into consideration your options that you're going to add, right?
Got it.
Lot premiums and everything else. So that's going to be a total of 450. But if you're looking for in a specific area, Summerlin, there you're going to be looking, you know, 450.
Yeah,
Base
about
price
450
minimum. Yeah.
No, I mean there are new homes out there that, you know, we'll start off at 300,000, but I mean you're probably not going to like the location as much, and if you take a look at the upgrades, you won't have that many upgrades. I mean, you're pretty much moving into an apartment building. So
I think a big commodity for people too when they're buying homes, especially coming from out of state, I think in general, but coming out of state, everybody wants a pool, especially with this 105-degree weather, right? So does that really eliminate a lot of the properties out there? Let's say if you're buying an existing home.
Yes.
now, and also I noticed that only really happens during the summertime too. So when the summertime kicks up, everybody wants a pool. Wintertime, they're like, we don't worry about a pool. But sometimes it's worth the pool, and sometimes it's not. I mean, you gotta look at the pros and cons. I mean, do you want to clean it? If not, you're gonna have to pay $125 a month. So really worth it.
Yeah.
The next question is, how often are you gonna utilize that pool?
Yeah.
But now, if you're buying a home that's like $1.2 million, then you definitely need a pool because that's just one of the requirements for those type of homes.
Yeah, I find a lot. You know, when I have this conversation with my clients, and they're like, "Oh, pool's a must. It's a must-have." I always tell them just keep an open mind because if you can actually build a pool later on down the road, it's probably beneficial because you just have more options to choose from. Because you literally eliminate about 85% of the homes if you click that button, that option for a pool. So if you can build one later on, perfect.
Yeah.
You know.
What is if somebody wanted to buy a home, and I don't know this number, but I've never really brought it up on this show, so I'm curious. Maybe you guys know. What is the starting point if somebody wants to buy a home and then let's say a year or two down the road they're like, you know what, I want to throw a pool in there. I want to do it. Is it pretty expensive these days to put a pool in?
Pools are going to run you about $80,000, and when it comes to pools, it's like building a car. The more options that you have, I mean, you can throw a lot towards it. I mean, I have a client that we spent $250,000 just to pull a loan, and $100,000 just for the landscaping. I mean, that's just the backyard. But I mean, we're talking about a $2.5 million deal. But I mean, you know, for a pool that's probably like 10 by 15, you're probably looking at almost about 80,000, just depending on the style of the pool. If you want waterfalls and stuff like that, if you want a jacuzzi, if it's going to be a saltwater pool. So I mean, there's so many options that you can do with a pool.
We got a caller on line 1, and also a backup behind that. We have another caller. Can you push that first caller through? Hello, is this Mark? Mark, how you doing, sir? Thanks. Good. Thanks for calling in on a Saturday. We appreciate your call. What's your question? Wow, nice. I mean, that's a good question. I think it's like this, though. You know, you still have to pay the interest on that year that you're going to push to the back end of the loan. So, I mean, that's your decision. I know that some servicers don't let you do that, as far as like, okay, you just closed and we're going to go ahead and let you go into forbearance. Some do, or most do, but I know that some don't. And in the ones that actually do let you come in and actually get a loan after forbearance is really Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA. For instance, for me, I've had people come in trying to get an FHA refinance, and once it shows, you know, on the credit report, we really can't push forward until that's either removed or we find out what the situation is. So that's, yeah. Go. Yeah, they're not reporting it as far as affecting your credit, but the verbiage that comes on there, it actually shows on the verbiage where your mortgage is out on your credit report.
So it still does affect it then?
It doesn't affect it as far as the credit.
But they're aware of it.
But they're aware of it, exactly. So, you know, when you ask a question like that, that's more of a personal question. I think if you're asking what would I do, I would probably do it only if I had to, because I don't want to push my, you know, you could save the money and you can, you know, do the things you need, but at the end of the day, you know, you're still just, you have to pay that mortgage. So, you know, it's more of a personal decision. It really is, Mark. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to just say, hey, you're not going to be able to pay that. You know what I mean? You're going to still have to pay it at some point. I think it's just everything's on a freeze. You know what I mean? And also, I mean, when that whole thing transpires, where it's you know, everything's completed, you do want to call the servicer and ask what's, you know, if that's really something that you have to do. You need to get all the parameters about what they're offering for that. Like I said, every servicer is a little different with what's happening. Like I said, I always coach people probably not to do it, but that's just me. Only because, you know, it doesn't help you. It actually it doesn't help your position. You're trying to lower the principal interest. If you really don't have a job, then you have to take it. But if you're working, you know, I don't know. That's something I don't know if I would do that. Mark, I appreciate you calling in, man. It's a, you know, like I said, I appreciate everybody calling in today. We got also another caller, right? Line 2. All right, Aaron, you there? What's going on, buddy? How are you? Good. Thanks for calling in. Sure.
Dan, why are you pointing to me? Why don't you answer this question?
Because it says right here that they want Chuck's advice on this.
I'll let Joey run with this one. I'll let Joey answer this question. Today he's the man. So, how are you gonna answer this question, Joey?
Well, I think you're more the foundation expert.
Okay, so this is how it works. As a licensed real estate agent, we can't say, hey, this is the best location. But what I realize is that if you take a look on the east side, the west side, the north side, and the south side, okay, if you break it down by the price per square foot, you'll notice that like Summerlin's about $196 a square foot. On the east side is about 156 a square foot. Okay. On the south side is about 178 a square foot. On the north side of town is about 168 a square foot. So it looks like everything is pretty much broken down based upon income level and based upon the housing price point. So the best way to combat this is really to go out there and take a look at every side of town, every single community, based upon what you're looking for and also based upon your purchasing power. Then from there, then you'll make the educated decision to see what the pros and cons are. Because there's a lot of great neighborhoods throughout the whole Las Vegas Valley that people are just not aware of. And every time I get a call, the first thing is like, I want to go to Summerlin. But then when I show them everything else, Summerlin is not always the best area. There's always other areas that you need to take a look at. And that's the best way to tackle the situation.
Did that answer that question, Aaron? Okay. Are you looking to come out here pretty soon and maybe take a look at some properties, or what's the story on you as far as that? Market's good there, man, in Dallas, huh? Mm.
What is this, like soil problems out there, or what are they doing? Well, the good news is if you move out here, you'll be living on a rock. So you won't have that problem.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah. Thanks for the call in and appreciate it.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So this is Joey Day.
Mm-hmm.
This is Joey Day. Joey, what's up, man? It's your day.
It's my day.
It's all about Joey. It's like your birthday, Joey. We didn't bring the cake, but it's still your day, man.
I'll tell you, I just got back into town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did go to Florida for 2 weeks, so.
You look a little bit tanned up a little bit.
Well, I'm so dark.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, who is this guy walking out? I was like, is Joey here? Like, where's Joey?
It's my natural color.
No, it does pop though with that white shirt.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
you.
It does pop.
Yeah,
So
feel good.
let's talk about what you wanted to really go over on the show, which is what is the improper expectation as far as what clients come out here. And right now you're saying that sometimes people come out here thinking they can really get more bang for their buck right now because of the market and what's going on. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely get more bang for your buck depending on from which location you're coming from, right? But when you're coming to this market, everybody's out here trying to do the same thing, you know? So you gotta put yourself, like, little reality check, right? Everyone's looking for a deal, and there are deals to be had. But when everyone's going after these properties, especially in resale, new homes, it's easy, right? Because you can go there, you can pick your floor plan, your lot's available, you know exactly what you're going to get. When you're out there looking for a resale for a specific type of floor plan, and if it's something like you want a pool or a master down, and you find that property and it's priced right and it's clean, you can't lowball offers, especially in this market, right? You can't come in.
What about closing costs?
Huh?
What about closing costs?
Oh, you can ask for closing costs, but you know we got to keep things in perspective, right? Because we do have a shortage of inventory, right? And we have, you know, over 100 people moving here per day. So, and everyone's after these properties. So you have to be realistic with your offers, you know, and it's just that type of market right now. It is a seller's market. So everyone's after these properties. Come in at a realistic price, right? Because you are going to find yourself in a multiple offer situation.
So Joey, why don't you walk us through the process? So if I'm a client and I find a property that's at $350, I say, hey Joey, I really like it. What do you do from there? I mean, do you run the comps? I mean, walk us through the process.
Yeah, so we run the comps. We want to make sure that the property is priced right. Okay. Run the comps, and we come up with a fair offer. Now, we definitely want to talk to the listing agent and make sure that there's no additional offers, right? So if the property was just listed and there's multiple offers, we obviously know that we have to come in at or around list price, right? If we're coming in $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 less, chances are we're probably not going to get that property, right?
Now, when you call the listing agent, what are you actually fishing for? And how does that leverage you out for your clients?
Well, first I want to see what the seller situation is.
Yeah.
You know, why are they selling?
Mhm.
Is there something wrong with the house? Are they relocating? Are they upsizing, downsizing? Just get the backstory so
Yeah.
I can see where they're at emotionally, right? Because that will determine a lot of how flexible they are or how motivated they are to sell,
Yeah.
right? So try to get that information, and then we pull the comps, and then we all obviously ask if there's any additional offers on the property.
Mhm.
Now, if they say yes, we have a lot of interest, we have 1 or 2 offers. Sometimes the listing agent will let you know. I always ask the question. It's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
You know, they'll tell you yes or no. And then we go from there. We submit the offer, and I always prepare my clients, say, look, you know, there's interest in the property, but we need to be prepared that we're going to be in a highest and best situation. What do you think this property is worth, and how much will you pay for it?
Mm-hmm.
And have that conversation just so we can manage expectations.
What is the month supplies for homes right now? Like if you were, how many, you said there was
It's like 3.2.
3.2 months?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not terrible. We saw it when it was really terrible, like really bad. We saw it where there was really not a lot of properties. Wasn't it like, what, a month or two?
No, it was only about like 2.3 months or so.
2.3
Yeah.
months.
So I mean, we roughly have about 8,000 properties currently on the market,
Wow.
and that includes townhomes, single-family residence,
Mm-hmm.
triplexes, duplexes, and all that, and condos as well. So just keep that in mind. Now, I remember, you know, back in 2009, 2010, there was over 18,000
Mhm.
properties.
Yes.
So I mean, that's a big difference,
It's
and
huge.
things are moving. So when people say, "Hey, man, that's a lot of properties," that's really not, because when you start punching in your certain criteria, you're going to start to see that number dwindle, and that's what we do. So it's like when I sit down with a client, we jump on the MLS. Here is all the properties. So now what's going to happen is just like a funnel. We're going to break it down.
Mhm.
You tell me what your price point is. Boom, half, right?
Uh-huh.
3 bedrooms. Now it just keeps breaking down and breaking down. If you
Yeah.
want a pool, if you want a master bedroom downstairs, so it just minimizes it. Next thing you know, they only have like 15 properties to choose from.
So, as you guys were talking about how desirable it is and how there's short of supply,
Yeah.
are we in a multiple offer scenario right now with homes? Is it happening quite
Absolutely.
often?
Yeah,
Okay.
it happened to me twice this week.
Okay. I mean, it's not. Is it
I
just
didn't win. We didn't win.
Yes.
But yeah, it happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's in the market. So people are going to have to be coached a little bit that, hey, you know what, we're going to put a strong offer, but there's going to be others putting in a strong offer, and then it's just really a crapshoot. Is that what it is?
It comes down to the strongest offer, and not cash doesn't always necessarily win.
Okay.
And
Right.
just because you're the highest price, it doesn't mean the deal's going to get done, because the property's probably not even going to appraise.
Yeah.
But there are some strategies in place where, you know, you can get your offer accepted knowing that it's not going to appraise. But once you're in a contract with the seller, you are in a whole different ballgame.
Right.
So now what you're doing is like you're taking the seller, you're dragging them into deeper and deeper waters, because now the property's tied up into escrow.
Mm-hmm.
So now the dynamics of the negotiating has flipped on over. Now
Yeah.
you have control of the deal.
Got it. So we're gonna cut the break here. We got about a minute left. We're gonna come back. We're gonna talk more about financing real estate. Joey's gonna give us a lot of insight on what his thoughts are with some of these buyers coming out of state here and trying to buy a home. Really focus on that. Also, we're gonna talk more about post-COVID. If you guys want to stay tuned, we'll be right back. Dude, I didn't get you, bro. I was trying to get you.
Why don't you move it over here? Or why don't you sit with Joey?
Is everyone afraid of me or something?
No.
Joey, you went to Florida, man.
Went to a hot spot.
That's where they were partying on the beach. That's where everybody got it. That's just,
Yeah, she
Just
just said
joking.
yeah. Mike
Just
Reed
joking.
said yeah.
just joking. Dang, man. We got about 6 minutes. 6 minutes, everybody. 6 minutes.
6 minutes ago.
Was it good? Right?
Did you dye your hair?
Man, you're the third person that said that shit.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Look at him. He's like a girl. Look at him. He's like doing his hair. Like, what are you doing, Chuck?
Just looking at myself, trying to get
You
ready.
admiring yourself?
Yeah, dude, I got some burnt, man. $6 minutes. Dang, somebody said, Chucky, you so fine. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm blushing now. Look at that. I'm blushing. Did you guys, did you end up go cycling?
Out
in
there?
Florida?
Oh, hell yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you just met up with some old friends?
Yeah, my best friend lives out there. So we rode. This was
So do you have a bike out there too?
No, I brought mine. This is what's us there? That was me.
Dude, you guys are booking it, dude.
Yeah, flying.
You guys going downhill?
No, it's flat. Hit almost about 40.
And you're just constantly pedaling.
Yeah, just jamming.
Dude, that's good cardio, dude.
Yeah. Oh, this is a better one here.
Okay.
Right there, going uphill, right there. But yeah, hit like 38, 40 flats.
How many miles have you guys done?
We did 50 that day.
How long does it take you to do 50 miles?
So it's a little over 2 hours.
Oh, that's not bad. Oh, you guys are just cranking it then.
Just cranking.
How many calories?
2,700.
Oh, no. Just get it out of the way, huh?
Yeah. Go for it, man.
Well, you ain't doing it out here, though.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to ride tomorrow morning.
Dude, but you gotta get up early. I can't do that.
6. Yeah, I'm on the bike by 6:30. Back by 8:30.
Are we up? 2 minutes? Alright.
Yeah, it was cool, man. We got good weather out there. And
Did you really go to Disney World?
yeah, it was a Universal.
Oh, shit, nice.
Yeah, there was no lines. There was nobody there.
Everybody's like all
We
paired
just
up.
like breezed through. We were like,
If you guys ever want any more time, just let me know. I can ask.
Oh, no,
we're good, man. We're good.
We good. We good.
Soldiers. You know what I'm saying?
I'm ready to eat some food. I'm hungry.
You hungry, son? Let's get it. What are you gonna eat, man?
I don't know, probably a chicken breast and some green beans again. Some green beans.
Man, that's really going outside the box.
All right, fat boy. You're the only one with the belly.
Hey, it's good living, bro. Good living. I'm going on a jog tonight.
You need more than a jog.
Burpees, baby.
How's about some meth?
Burpees.
Start off with some meth.
You need like a 3-day bender.
Yeah, next time you see his like eyes are all black. He's calling you like 3 in the morning. Yo, call this lead, bro. This is a good one. Did you get that one lead that Dan sent to you?
Which one? The one today? The cash buyer? Yeah.
What about the one on the text that you sent me?
I'll tell you. And welcome back. This is Dan French here with LV Home Experts, the show in studio with chakits.k with Simply Vegas, and also in studio with Joey Andron, also from Simply Vegas. And it's Joey Day. We're going to talk to Joey. Joey, what's happening, man? How's the family? How you doing
It's
today,
good,
buddy?
baby. It's good.
You're loving it, huh?
I love
Hey,
it.
what did you do before real estate? What were you at, man? What did you do? You said, what were you doing before?
DJ.
You were a DJ,
I was
right?
a DJ in
Man.
Miami Beach.
Wow.
DJ.
Hey, did you really get things like moving or what? I mean,
Oh man, it was
your
the
name?
best. Yeah, I did it for 8 years.
Everybody
on
started to
Miami
get your
Beach,
name?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Dude,
They knew who I
you must
was.
have been a playboy.
Oh, dude, you have no
Dude.
idea.
Hey, he's married, so we can't be talking about that.
Your wife isn't
I
listening, right?
digress.
But did you know Joey? He is a cyclist.
Oh, are you, Joey?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did you cycle today?
No.
No.
How do you think he got here? You need a ride? Need a lift?
Where do you cycle, man? You go like you know what I used to do is I used to go mountain bike riding.
Yeah, that's something I want to get into.
Yeah, it's crazy because
I just bought one.
yeah.
Did you really?
Did you go off road or what'd you do with it?
Not yet. I'm still waiting on you. You said you were gonna buy one.
Well,
Well, I'll tell you. Where do you go ride at? You ride a street bike?
yeah. I
Okay.
ride a Canyon road bike.
Like a 10-speed? No.
Yeah. it's a 12-speed carbon. Yeah. It's got a little basket in the front.
So somebody ride on the handlebars.
No, I'll tell you what though, that's probably one of the best things about living in Las Vegas is the outdoors, man. Like you can just get into it, whatever you want to do, right? But I live in Inspirada.
Okay.
So I'll ride from Inspirada and go all the way out through the Red Rock Loop, which is like 67 miles.
A lot of people ride out there, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's my favorite ride out here.
Really?
Look, I'm gonna put something together. You know, I see a lot of people trying to hike. There's a lot of hiking spots around Vegas.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm gonna put something together because I'm really curious. I don't know how many places there are, but I went right around, you know, where you go up Charleston and then you come around Red Rock.
Yeah.
If you keep going around, it goes into a circle. You end up at Blue Diamond, but there's like 4 or 5 places there that you can go hiking.
Yeah, Calico Basin's amazing. It's not too difficult. I mean, you can get difficult if you want to, but there's just really nice walking trails. You're climbing over some rocks and
They got a rookie
really
trail.
Hey,
that is the rookie trail.
there's this place called Turtlehead Peak. So we walked up it, actually hiked up it, and it was pretty tough on the terrain. It was probably like 4 hours. And I remember we took this real big buff dude, right? He was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm in training. I'm in UFC. I was like, all right, let's do this. This guy had like weights on his legs, right? And like the chest. And this dude was buff. And he was doing it. By the time we were like into it for like 2 hours, this guy was peeling this stuff off his ankles and just like leaving it. He was like, forget this, bro.
I'll tell you, dude. You know, I was out, and there's a lot of people out. You know, I went over there to check it out the other day, and you know, a lot of people are starting to hike. You know, but I was driving there before, like when COVID, there was nothing going on. Everything was blocked off. So I think everybody in outdoor life here, I think is pretty amazing. You know, there's not really much you can't do. It does get too hot, but I mean, you got the sites. You know, down by Bonnie Springs or Old Bonnie Springs. You know, all that down there. If you want to go out and do just a nice, you know, cruise. You know, not just cruising the strip. Just nice views out there.
Yeah, you go to Angel Falls, which is really nice. When the snow run off, you can see the waterfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool up there.
So anyways, let's go back. We were talking about the real estate side of it. Chuck, first off, if people want to get a hold of us, Chuck, what's that number again?
702-257-5396. Again, that number is 702-257-5396.
Okay, so Joey, let's talk about a couple things. So we were talking about some unrealistic people out there trying to make offers. And we want to get right back into talking about what's happening with this whole COVID and forbearance thing and all this stuff that's gone on. Are you still seeing caution from people about buying? Like, what is the questions you typically get?
So I'm finding a lot of people that are, I wouldn't say a lot of people, but there's a good amount of people that are concerned about what's going to happen towards the end of the year. Right? They're like, you know, after this forbearance happens, now reality sets in. Are they going back to work? After that money's cut off, are they going to be foreclosed on?
Right.
Right. Or is there going to be a flood of foreclosures that are going to hit the market?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's going to take place because if you take a look at Freddie and Fannie Mae, I think they almost hold, like 40% of all loans right now? It's like, I don't think the federal government is going to want our market to crash.
I don't think so either.
No, I think they're going to do everything they can to sustain it, you know, and I think that's where we're at. But I think a lot of people still think that, you know, it's doom and gloom and you don't know what's going to happen. And so you wait to the end of the year. Maybe they think this whole all this dust is going to settle and then they're going to be able to buy a home. But the biggest thing we always get is markets going to depreciate? Are they, the house prices, I get text messages, emails, questions all the time. When is the market going to start going the other direction and go down? And I have no idea. But
I don't have an idea either. But I'll tell you what, the way this market is right now and how our phones are ringing off the hook and now these buyers are coming in, I don't see it slowing down. I don't see that. We did have a slowdown last month. Right. I mean, we saw the reason why we have 3.2 months of inventory is because people canceled their listings. They didn't know what was going to happen, and they have a ton of equity in their home. They're not in a distressed situation where they have to sell. It's a fire sale. They just pulled back. So now, you know, you see these people, now things are starting to pick up, and I think, like I said, it's like a whiplash. Our market's just going to take off again. So I think it's strong. You know, once that forbearance runs out, people are already going back to work. You know, and a lot of these people, you see these corporations that, you know, let people work from home, and now they're seeing that people are productive. Now they have satellite offices. They can work from anywhere.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, I mean, let's talk about, you know, some people listen to the show, and I think they get a lot of good information, and some people are a little biased that maybe they think that the market is still going to have some issues. And they might also think that, you know, listening to us, we're a little biased that, hey, everything is going to keep going. But you guys are living in it. You're in the trenches. So I mean, we're not just giving you this information because we want you to, be all happy and everybody's buying a home. Look, everybody doesn't go out and buy a home, but we have a high volume of people still interested and still making offers, and we just go off of what the experience.
What's going on right now.
And so it's just really about the trenches. If it was going the other direction, we'd come on here and say, hey, it's just not working out, but at the end of the day, everybody's buying still.
Sure.
I see it all the time. I mean, you guys do a ton of new homes, right?
Pretty much. That's pretty much our business is new homes. And I think the reason why is because, again, a lot of our clients are from out of state, and everybody wants something that's brand new. Because on the resale side, you can't really get everything that you want, but on a brand new home, you can with all the options that you can pick and choose from.
Plus, also, let's talk about the price difference. You look at if somebody's going out and buying an existing home right now, and because the prices are really not much different than, say, buying a new home. Now, there's some custom homes out there that run you pretty high, right? 800 to $1 million.
Well, it just really depends on what price point you're looking at. I mean, if you're looking at the price point 350 and below, you're pretty much out of the market at this time.
Okay.
But then if you're looking around, like, let's say if we did Summerlin. If you were going to buy a brand new home in Summerlin, it's probably going to cost you about $500,000. If you bought a resale, it'd be about $450,000.
Got it. Yeah.
So, I mean, you do have that option, but now it just comes down to, if you bought a resale home, does it have all the things that you want? If it does, then go for it. If not, right, you only got 6 out of 10, but in a brand new home, you're willing to, pay $50,000 more. You're going to live there for another 10, 15, or 20 years. You're going to retire there. Then maybe that's something that you want to move forward with.
So there's not a huge price difference between buying, let's say, a new home versus, like there's a price point. You talked about it, $450,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you bought a home at $550,000, is there really? Yes, it's newer, but let's say the house at $450,000 is about 5-10 years old. Is there really a huge difference? Obviously, the new home is more desirable, but is there a huge difference? So people are looking at it going, well, why am I going to spend $450,000 if I can get this for $550,000, and I'm just going to wait and I'm going to try to get a new home? Is that kind of what's happening in the market?
Well, it's kind of hard to predict that, and here's the reason why. Because it just depends on the neighborhood. Sometimes you may run across that situation where you get an older home, but you get more of a bigger square footage. It really does come with the pool, but sometimes you can get a smaller home, and it really depends on that neighborhood. Like Summerlin is pretty much neck to neck, so you have to look at both sides. There's not one answer that fits everything. So.
Go ahead.
Yeah, when you're looking like the Enterprise area or like in the Henderson area, and you're looking at the resale homes, and a lot of people want that larger square footage.
Yeah,
resale is definitely the way to go.
Yeah,
for the price per square foot of what you're getting, larger bedrooms, larger great rooms.
Yeah,
in the newer homes, they've kind of gone to that family room style or open concept, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or 2.5 bath.
That's like if you went out to the Northwest, you're paying about $169 a square foot versus $198 a square foot in Summerlin. So again, what you're really paying for is you're paying for location, right? Yeah. But if you went out into the Northwest, I mean, you got Sky Canyon. That's a new master plan community. But here's the thing, it's not as established as it is, in Summerlin. But if you're willing to take that gamble, that chance, and if you can see what's to come, right, you're going to get more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
But that's why I say you got to go outside that neighborhood, because you got to see if you like the things around that neighborhood. Does that fit and suit your needs?
Call in now, guys, if you guys have any questions. Financing or real estate, we can answer those questions, all your needs. 702-257-5396. Joey, I want to ask you a question. All right, so you live in Henderson, right? Is it Henderson or is it? Okay, Inspirata. So obviously you like Henderson. Do you like Summerlin equally? A lot of people don't, there's a big disconnect where it's
obviously he lives in Henderson.
Well, but it's the house he's living in. Maybe he wants to choose the house,
so
right?
It's a great question. So I love Inspirata just because I have a 3- and 5-year-old, right? It's parks and recreation. You have 3 brand new schools out there, 2 charter schools. It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
And the growth is insane right now. So when I bought my house back in 2015-ish, 2016, they had another 8,000 homes that they were building.
Who'd you buy with?
KB.
Oh, nice.
So I bought KB. For me, it was a perfect house for me. At that time, my base price was $290.
Wow.
I got it for $330. Yeah.
Hey, that's great, man.
But you got like you said, you have to look. You have to be able to look into the future. What is that development going to look like? Like Sky Canyon. Sky Canyon has master plans all around it that are sprouting up. So that's a great location for the future. So Inspirata is the same deal. I love it. I see the growth there, and Summerlin is definitely my number one. I love Summerlin just because I ride bike there. you know, and there's a lot of things like outdoors and hiking and all that stuff that we just talk about. But for me, for price point, I was comfortable
Absolutely.
with Inspirada
That's
because
the
I was
reason.
not, because look, I was starting a family, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of my clients are in that same position. You know, they're
Absolutely,
relocating, they're
man.
young families, and they don't want to go ahead and spend $500,000 on a home.
We're all trying.
And that's a good point. That's where I say that you need to come out here, strap up your boots, right? You need to take a look at everything, and you need to see what fits and suit your needs.
See, a lot of people I talk to live outside of Summerlin because it's so high, right? And the cost is so high. And it's like, well, by the time they find something that they want, they're like, oh, it's Summerlin, Summerlin, Summerlin. And all of a sudden you find out and they're in Vegas or they're in North Vegas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're not in Summerlin. So I was curious because you're an outdoor person, you know, you do hiking?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. So you're definitely an outdoor person. So I think people that want to do outdoor, they want to be over there. You know, they want to be at that fingertips where it's like, I'm walking outside, I see a nice big rock. I'm gonna start, you know. I
You go climb it.
It's definitely a view out there too. So
yeah, and you know, we talked about this before. I managed Skystone for Woodside Homes.
Yeah.
Right, and that was my backyard. You know, so I love that community. I love that area, and it just really goes based on what your needs are and you know what your financial threshold is.
Sure.
Right? And where you want to be located in the city and.
Talking about that, I don't know if you know who Beth is. She used to work at that track.
Beth?
Yeah. I'm not too sure what her last name is, but I just seen her today at a different track, but she was at that track. She was actually one of the sales agents that I sold a home to that was across the street from that one guy that you had to deal with. But I don't want to put it on air.
Oh, yeah,
though.
I'm not going to say it.
Yeah. That's probably a good idea. But anyway.
There's a lot of information that needs to be cleared up there. So anyway, so let's go back. So you were talking about a lot of these buyers, and I think a lot of people want to see what are you experiencing and what are these people experiencing? You know, we just got somebody into contract, so we got a lot of stuff happening right now. And so, you know, going into it, knowing the position, obviously you can't call the seller, like, but is that sometimes like you're kind of, hey, you know what, I'm going to feel it out a little bit with certain things? I mean, how does that work through the process?
I always dig for information.
Okay.
Right? There's no line for me.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, because you never know who's on the other end. So sometimes the seller or the listing agent will say, hey, look, you know what, I got 3 offers and 350 or 400 is the highest.
So how's this conversation taking place? You're like, any offers?
100%. Right at them.
Is it really?
Absolutely. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
But you
know,
can't say like, hey, are they asking for closing costs, or is that doesn't happen, right?
All the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could be like, hey, did this offer come in with closing costs?
Yeah. Listen, if you don't ask the question, you're not going to get an answer.
Yeah. But there are some agents that won't even tell you anything, right?
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. You know, it just happened to me yesterday.
Yeah.
So they, you know, she was like, hey, listen, you know what? I'm just not authorized to give that information. But some agents will just say, hey, look, you know what? I'm not going to waste your time. I have 3, 4 offers. This is the highest, and this is where you need to be.
Yeah.
All right. Don't waste the paper if not.
Now, are you also asking what the position is of the seller? Because I know sometimes when you do ask that, the listing agent will ask what's the position of your buyer too as well.
Yeah.
Because what happens is you have the listing agent and also the buyer's agent. They're trying to work together to put the deal together. And what they try to do is try to figure each other out first. Because sometimes they want to do this up front to see if the deal's going to work out. Because if it's not going to work out, they don't want to go into escrow because it's a waste of time for everybody. And I think that's what agents like to do, is kind of really procure the deal, extract the information, and see how we can piece this deal together.
Are they getting what they're expecting though? Like, so let's say, hey, you know what? I see this house, and you know, you do the comps, right? You guys do comps. Make sure that you're not getting into something that's just way out of whack, you know. But then they're like, the seller comes back, is like, well, I think I want to try to put 25 on top of what you think it is. So your comps come back, and it's, you know, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 less. Are they willing to say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna kind of come down, or they're gonna be like, you know what? We're just gonna see what happens. If it's an appraisal, we'll just see what happens.
Yeah. So it's always subject to appraisal.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're at that impasse, you're like, look, you know what? All right, if it's 500 and it's only comping out at 475, hey, look, you know what? Let's roll the dice, 500, and we'll just, you know, subject to appraisal. If it doesn't appraise, then we cancel it or renegotiate down to a lower price.
So what happens when you're working on the buying side and you get the appraisal done, right? It comes back and it's actually lower. So what happens from there? I mean, how do you convince the seller, hey, drop this thing down by $25,000 because this is what it appraises at?
Well, look, the buyer's not going to get approved for any more, right?
Yeah.
The lender, right, is not going to lend you $500,000 or $25,000 more on that house if it's not comping out on that appraisal. Am I right?
You're absolutely correct. Now, in some cases, you got people that are like, you know what? It comes in, hey, we won't lower it. you're going to have to come out with the difference. And they put it in the verbiage sometimes as it's up to the seller if they want to move forward or not based upon the appraisal. So that's something to look at.
I mean, and that's a very unique situation because somebody's not going to want to overpay for that property
Absolutely.
unless they absolutely love it and they have to have it.
Yeah.
Right? And they have the financial means to do it.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Well, can't you do a second loan, Dan?
A second loan?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like a first, a second?
Yeah, yeah. You can't do that?
Oh, no. No, I don't
Let me
do
get
that.
a second for 25.
We can actually do that, but it's not something we try to practice, or at least I try to practice. There's some jumbo products that's out there that actually are pretty slick.
We were in a situation with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so much though where it's like, hey, it's under conforming loan limits. I mean, nobody's gonna really, you can't get a loan like that. So why would you try to broker it out like that? I mean, I guess you could, but so for me, most of that stuff comes at jumbo. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think the appraisal is the big point as far as a starting point, like saying, how do you write the contract? I think a lot of people too, they don't want to lose money, and everybody's fighting to get top dollar,
every dollar,
every penny, every penny they can,
Yeah.
Not doing this, I'm gonna pay for this, it's just.
Yeah, and so that going back to like the highest and best situations too, like a lot of the sellers will look at it and say, okay, you are bidding above that list price, but they already know they're probably gonna have to come down if it doesn't appraise, so it might not be the best deal for them.
But that also benefits them because the reason why they do that, they try to maximize as much as they can, because here's the thing, the appraiser, when he goes out there, he does not want to be the guy that stamps approval and says this thing is not going to appraise. So he's going to try to get it appraised as much as he can. So that really does help out the seller. Now, if it doesn't appraise, what normally I like to do is go back to the seller and explain to them, like, look, there's an appraisal file number attached to this thing. No matter if you throw this thing back on the market, FHA, VA, or conventional, another appraiser is going to see it's been attached. And once they see that, they're not going to overrule that and say it's worth more money. So at the end of the day, I normally go back to the seller and say, hey, look, you might as well drop this, right?
Yeah.
Down to the price, because you're going to throw it back on the market. You're just wasting time.
So you had all these topics. I just want to kind of let you kind of end the show here a little bit. We got about 5 minutes. I want you to kind of talk to us and talk to the audience about some other challenges that's been going on and maybe some of the stuff you kind of put in here. I mean, let's talk a little bit about what the whole people coming out of state, some of the challenges like we talked.
I mean, I think it's a great thing. I don't want to be, the cheerleader, for the Las Vegas market and the whole thing. Like there's nothing wrong, but I want really people to understand and kind of see past, this whole COVID situation, right? Because a lot of the people that we deal with have had plans to move out here for a long time, and those plans maybe got paused, right? Or they just say, hey, look, I just need to push my timeline just a little bit further out. But a lot of people haven't changed their plans, right? So what's happening now is, now that they eased, the market's just picking back up again, right? So I don't think that this market's going to retract. I think the retraction already happened. We might see something, later on down the road. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, right? I'm not an analyst, but just the activity in the market shows that we are in a strong market. There's inventory. There's a great inventory out there. If you're coming here to Las Vegas and you want to buy a home, think about it seriously and be ready to make a move, right? If you see a house that you like and it checks all the boxes, if you wait, it's going to be gone.
So you probably should, get approved before you even come out here. You don't want to waste any time if you're really thinking about buying a home. Yeah,
I mean, and I think that, when you look at a lot of the challenges that people face when they're coming from state to state, it's not an easy transition.
No.
You're looking at like a huge life change, and it's always a big concern, like, I don't want to put my house on the market and sell it in California or East Coast or Dallas, like the guy that just called, or somewhere, and then all of a sudden I'm not approved for a loan, or the house I thought was going to come through, it's not coming through now, and now you're really on the fence. You're like, should I even go out there or shouldn't I come out there? Because people want to have security. They want to. Nothing's for sure, but they still want to have where they feel confident.
And this is where it's very important to work with an agent that knows how to structure this type of deal. And these type of deals we work all the time because all our clients are from out of state, and you want to make that smooth transition. Yeah,
it's a big deal. I mean, you deal with a lot of people, Joey, and I can tell you, your whole hand-holding process, I see it. I don't even have to like ask anybody. I can see it, that you really take care of people. I think you really care about what's going on. So I think it's a really good thing. You brought up a lot of good topics today, a lot of good points about what's happening. People want to know. I get questions all the time. What's happening post-COVID? I mean, it's not, COVID's still around, but we are starting to see things flow again. And I think when you start to see the economy, is it the same economy before this whole thing came down with COVID.
I mean, I don't think it's the same economy, right? But I think we are gaining traction now that things are starting to open up.
Yeah.
Right? People are out. I was out last night with my sister. Went to dinner and
Where'd you go?
went to Mas por Favor.
Okay.
In Spring Mountain.
Did you wear a mask? No.
I did not. I'm not a mask kind of guy. I don't
Hey,
know.
I
I
get
just
it,
wash
man.
my hands a lot.
It's a touchy topic. We got about 3 minutes, so yeah. So you got to.
But people are out. You know, people are out there doing their thing. You know, they're back at work. Businesses are doing really well right now for the ones that are open. But you know, I want to touch on this. I want to close on this. You know, if we have our callers, people calling in, right, and you're looking for our services. The pre-approval or proof of funds is essential. We really need that in hand because we don't want to put the cart before the horse and waste a lot of time, right? We need to know that you're approved and everything else. And a lot of people, when we set these appointments, are going to require that for us to enter their homes.
Yes.
So, you know, some people get offended by it, you know, but it's one of those things that's very, very important that we have that in hand, that you're a qualified buyer, and that we have that on file. So when we're ready to place that offer, we don't have to go find the pre-approval, or, you know, maybe you're missing a tax document or something that it might take a little bit of time. We're already prepared. We can submit the offer, and we can go after the property.
And if you're not ready to buy until 6 months, you need to get that anyway. So that way we're looking at the correct properties, right?
Absolutely. I always say to everybody, you know, I talk to a lot of people too. I might be a little biased, you know, with being a lender because I work with guarantee rate, but I always say it's never too soon to start the application process, because if you have something wrong with your credit, everybody's always like, well, I don't want to pull credit. Well, guys, listen, you're going to have to pull credit. We're not saying go pull credit at 10 or 15 different places. Pull it one time. See what's out there. See what's going on. Anytime you pull it after that, the first 30 days, it's a soft pull. Let's say you wanted to get a second opinion. So you really got to do your homework. I really want people to understand that it's not going to affect you where your credit score drops 40 points because the lender pulled your credit report. Got about 2 minutes. What else do you want to say, Joey?
So and getting that pre-approval early on, because you might have an idea that you can only afford maybe $300,000.
Yeah.
And then you get that pre-approval, then all of a sudden you just got bumped up 50 or 75,000, which opens up a tremendous amount of opportunity out there.
You make a good point too, because interest rates have dropped. So what that means is now you can purchase more home. Your purchasing power is that much greter.
Great point. Great point. Yeah, rates are phenomenal right now. And
what are the rates right now?
1.2, right? You said?
Oh yeah. No, we're negative.
Disclosure. We're just playing around. That's not correct.
Isn't there a country out there with negative interest rates right now?
Yeah, I think it's Europe, isn't it?
No, I don't know if it's Europe. I think it's Japan. No, is it Japan?
I don't know.
I don't know. One of those countries are. But go back to what we're talking about. Yes, it does increase your purchasing power.
Yeah.
Rates are phenomenal. People are refinancing. I think a lot of people are looking to refinance their home. You know, and going into a forbearance doesn't eliminate you if you have a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan. You can turn around and refinance your loan. You know, it's like I said, it's a Band-Aid because the market stopped, right? And everything kind of was as a freeze, and we're back up and going. So they don't want to long-term affect you, just like the caller said. It does not affect your credit score. You know, they're aware of it, but it doesn't affect your score at all, and it doesn't affect you on a long-term basis. So it's really good. So anything else, Joey? Any last comments?
That's it. If you're looking to move to Las Vegas, make sure you give us a call.
Yeah.
Visit lvhomeexperts.com.
All right, guys. So thank you again. We'll be back next week every Saturday from 6 to 7. This is Dan French. I'm with chakits.k. Krulsawat. Joey Andron visited today. He's our guest. He's done a great job, and we'll see you next week. We have a lot of good topics, financing and real estate. We'll get with you guys next week.
That one was all over the board.
Wasn't it?
That was.
I love it.
Whatever.
I try to bring it back.
Yeah.
You know, I think the best thing is you got that email of all the items that his topics, right?
Yeah. We win all of them, didn't we? Most of them?
Yeah. Pretty much. We kind of touched on them. Yeah.
It's like a baby touch.
Yeah. Baby touch. I mean, it's casual conversation. I mean, I didn't like we didn't come out here spitting like, you know, percentages and
I don't think people
bore
want
people
that.
being bore people with facts, you know, and numbers.
Do you guys want percentage, facts, and numbers? Well, at least somebody learned something today. Said good night, everybody. Definitely learned something. Kevin says, yeah, he definitely wants more facts and numbers. Well, you did a good job, Joey.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man, you did real good.
All right, guys.
All right, man.
You guys have a good one. Thanks for tuning in.